Welcome in the ring, folks. Let's fight. Good evening to each and every one of you. Wherever you're joining us from, final show for the week. Let's fight. Happy to have each and every one of you here with us. Good folks. Welcome, 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 welcome. Pace and power, folks. Pace and power. Happy to have you folks here. Happy Friday, folks. Friday, the 29th day of November. By the time we meet this time next year, we're well underway in December. But it's good to have all of you here with us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Share that live, folks. Smash that emoji button as well. Good to see. I see Jermaine Gordon. Gordon, how are you doing? Neon Harding is here. Nigel Hector and all the other folks joining us. Shelly Doretta, Leonard Finance, good to have you. I see Marlon Thomas. I see Nicola. Edris. Good to have you here, Carol Boville and all the other folks, Wilma, Cheryl, Jamal, Clarexis Charmley, Obi Chester, Leslyn Hamilton is here too, and Paulette, Scientist Fitzpatrick. Well, no, y'all know your neighbor. Scientist Fitzpatrick, you know you're able. What else we can tell you, folks? Happy Friday. We hope that you all got some plans and you're just not doing anything after the program. Some of you might be going to get some fish and chips. Might be having some fish and chips right now. Good evening, folks. A very good evening. Jamal Aziz. Brenda Bailey is here with us as well. Good evening, Brenda. And all you lovely folks joining us from the many places you're joining us from. Let's fight. Welcome in the ring. Couldn't have you guys hearing that. Good to have you wonderful folks hearing that. Nigel Anderson, good to see you there. Happy to have you on the live, folks. Grateful to have all of you. We're going to fight card set, folks. Just some of y'all missing. Sweaty back there. So, is it what you made it back? Good to have you wonderful folks with us tonight. And we got Deborah Clark is here. Denise Fraser, Rohan Basantram is here. Nigel Anderson, Wilton Blue, Cheryl. Good to have you. Lone Wolf, Wilma Grant. Good to have each and every one of you folks. We are fired up. And we're ready to go. We hope that you guys are as well. We got to open up. Folks. Remember last week, Gcom told us, Claudette Singh told us, Claudette Who Swing told us that Asher Kissoon, Dr. Asher Kissoon, Member of Parliament, squatting in the house. They got a number of folks squatting. It was Sarah Brown, it was Vikash Ramkissoon. Squatting in the house, folks. You remember Onij was a squatter? Now it's Dr. Asher Kissoon. GCOM knows. The National Assembly knows. A pack of squatters. Well, the Alliance for Change leader, Nigel Hughes, he ain't taking it, sir. He's not taking it. He had some very, very strong words. Also, Cortez, we see you there. Had some strong words. Karen Thorne, Deborah Clark, Simone Greaves had some very strong words. Joyce Simpson, Sheena Hazel. Strong words for GCOM. Take a look, take a listen to what the Alliance for Change leader said in the AFC press conference today on the subject matter at hand.
Some 4+ years since the announcement of the results in the 2020 election, some 4+ years since the identification and swearing in of members of the National Assembly, some 4+ years since members of the National Assembly have sat and deliberated upon various matters in the National Assembly, and some 4+ years since there have been debates on various proposed legislation, bills, motions, and definitely in excess of a year after one member of Parliament took her seat in Parliament, the Ghana Elections Commission has now found it possible to inform us that the person who occupies a seat in the National Assembly, who has voted on bills, who has participated in debates about legislation and other matters, who has asked questions as a member of the National Assembly, the Ghana Elections Commission has now said that that person sits there as an imposter and without any lawful authority. They have finally admitted that the error is theirs and theirs alone entirely. So effectively, the Ghana Elections Commission has allowed a member to sit in the National Assembly, participate in deliberations about matters of the highest importance to this country, and now finds it acceptable to announce a year later that that person had no authority whatsoever to sit there. This kind of conduct, this complete and absolute negligence, this reckless disregard for the laws of this country, for the integrity of the National Assembly, for the necessity to make sure that persons who are appropriately elected and appointed to the National Assembly are entitled to be there, that we have now reached a stage where we are being told that we're not sure whether the people who are sitting in the National Assembly are properly there. The Alliance for Change has lost complete and absolute confidence in the leadership of the Ghana Elections Commission in relation to the administration of electoral matters. Who knows what else they will discover after 4 years? And worse than that, when we are approaching perhaps one of the most important elections in the history of this country, that they have finally admitted to their gross negligence, that we should allow them, or that they should be allowed to enjoy any trust in relation to any matter that impacts the conduct of elections. Whether it's biometrics, whether it's registration, whether it's registered address, any of the issues that affect the future of this country, those which require an interpretation of the law by GCOM, which by its negligence has admitted that it has made a gross error, leads no one in this country to believe that under its present leadership, it is capable of delivering anything looking like a credible election. And before we get to the election day, that it is capable of interpreting the laws of this country consistent with what is set out in the laws. And therefore, in those circumstances, we believe the leadership of GCOM ought to do the correct thing and tender resignation, lest we be led down the path of further ignorance of what might have been an illegal act. This must be a gross embarrassment to us in the Caribbean, that we have had a member of parliament or somebody sitting in parliament who ought not to have been there and who is there purely as a result of the actions of GCOM.
Welcome back, folks. Just a snapshot of some of what happened during the course of the day. So a number of things, folks, a number of things illegally in the National Assembly, Dr. Ashikisun, illegally. And you know, if you come through some of those observation reports from the different observer missions that were here, GCOM can even implement 5%. And things that within their grasp, like this, they can't address. How could you have confidence in the system and you continue to sit on your hands at the National Assembly, Mansour Nadir, and GCOM Claudette Singh sits on her hands and, oh, there's nothing we could do. Asha's there unless she resign. That can't be it, folks. But see, they want that. They want that extra seat and that one seat majority, and that is why they're doing what they're doing. And just in case you had missed the context for what Leader of the Alliance for Change Nigeria's used and said, listen to what transpired at GCOM earlier in this week, folks, that brought us to this point here on the Ashikisun matter.
Madam Chairman, before I about this and all of that, how is the Commission addressing this, and how is the Commission being guided by the law on what it says about the treatment of join the parties? How are you being guided, and why have you been acting much on it?
You mean the last election?
Yeah, the last election, the join the.
Well, I don't know what you are referring to in terms of the treatment or how you treat them.
You have exchanges of letters from who is the actual.
I can say this much. The Representation of the People Act addresses this issue. It says how joint the parties are to be treated with. It says how seats are to be allocated to join the lists. And it says how seats are then to be further allocated among the parties that form the joint.
Can you explain that to us, if you can, in terms of who gets the seat, as in this situation that we have now?
Okay, so according to Section 97, we're a combination of lists. That's what it's called. Where they are awarded seats. Those seats are awarded as if they're one list. But then section 97.5 says that seats must be further allocated among those parties in the same way, using a different electoral quota. And the different electoral quota is the number of votes that they got. Now, obviously, no individual party would have gotten all of those votes. So then it goes to which party has the highest number of votes. And the seats are allocated in that way. So if it's one seat, the party with the most votes gets that seat.
For the duration of
For the entire period, yes.
So we've seen these musical chairs with these parties. Is that an error on behalf of GCOM? And is GCOM going to seek to have that remedied when there's a row out there among a party in waiting and a party refusing to move?
And just to follow up with
And the LJP, I think, was the party with the most seats,
right.
the most votes. So how does GCOM fix that, Madam Chairperson, putting on your legal cap?
And GCOM revoked the appointment of
If I may assist, Madam Chair, just from a legal point perspective, it is for the Speaker, where a vacancy has to be filled, it is for the Speaker of the National Assembly to initiate that process by writing to the representative of the list and obtaining their extraction of who is to fill that list. And so when Mr. Schuman demitted, when he resigned, the Speaker did carry out that process. That what followed was, I can't presume to know what was in the minds of those of the persons, but the list that name needed to come from was the LJP list.
But did GCOM bring that to the attention, or attempt to bring it to the attention of the Speaker that there may have been an error here and this ought to be fixed? Has the Commission discussed this at all?
GCOM is in a position to revoke the certificate of appointment of Dr. Kisu, correct? So why are we doing it? If JLP is supposed to get a seat, her certificate of appointments could be revoked. Make way for the correct party to join the seat.
I can say this, Madam Chair, if I may. This matter, I mean, I know you have questions. I don't think you will get the answers here and now, because this matter is actually on the agenda of the Commission, and I know Madam Chair will not want to proffer any opinion at this point. It would be premature. It is a matter on the agenda.
But legal opinion was proffered to the Commission.
That's correct. And the Commission needs to discuss it and decide as a collective as to the way forward. Whether they interact with the Speaker of the National Assembly, or if they need to wait on some correspondence from the National Assembly or otherwise, that is before the Commission, and I know it's on the agenda.
Yeah. Welcome back. Just wanted to give you some context what the leader of the Alliance to Change said. And absolutely correct. Again, Canada scored enough. This is the kind of Nancy story you're hearing out of GCOM. They don't know this, they don't know that, they don't know the next. Nancy story. A couple of things that on the car tonight, folks. You see that GCOM list? We got to sanitize it with some blue soap. Yep. It didn't fit nothing. Irfan and Kato. Promises. I remind you all about a couple of things there. Then our brother Ganesh Mahi Paul. He on the cards too. And of course, King Liar himself. King Liar himself. We got a couple of things to get to, folks. First, our thoughts and prayers with our Kenyan brothers and sisters, our Ugandan brothers and sisters. There was a mudslide in Uganda. They said over 100 plus persons are missing. More than 100 plus are missing. The death toll, they said, has climbed to 17, and over 100 are missing. Our thoughts and prayers with the folks of Uganda. This happened in a place called Balumbi. They said it's 30 kilometers east of Kampala, the capital. Again, 17 dead and over 100 persons are missing this mudslide in Uganda. Our thoughts and prayers with our Ugandan brothers and sisters. Our thoughts and prayers with them. So one of the things we wanted to alert you to And then the numbers, folks, the numbers. This bloated list. Bloated list. That's one of the things in the front burner for this election. Why does the PPP want to go with this list? Ganesh Paul told us in a press conference of the People's National Congress Reform today, even the photographs on your ID ain't looking like what it used to. And persons are afraid they got over 200,000 deceased or overseas persons on this list. Over 200,000 dead or overseas. Then you got this ID card business to contend with. Listen to some of what Ganesh told us today. Member of Parliament Ganesh Mahipal.
Member of Parliament Ganesh Mahipal has said that the Guyana Elections Commission seems to be accepting abnormalities. Speaking at a weekly press conference on Friday, he said that the list of electors according to GCOM stands at some 718,000.
If we compare this figure with the 684,354 names announced just over 2 years ago, it means the list is growing by over 16,000 names a year, which is equivalent to 2 parliamentary seats.
He said that the cause for alarm is that the list should soon surpass the population. This list includes more than 200,000 people who are either dead or have migrated.
This bloated monstrosity of a list provides sufficient grounds to question whether GCOM can deliver an election that accurately reflects the democratic will of the Guyanese people and gains their confidence and acceptance.
However, the present systems in place don't facilitate a transparent election. For starters, the use of the identification card is problematic. The current system is based on manual facial recognition on the folios and identification cards.
These photos are inadequate in 3 critical regards. 1, on both ID cards and folios, the photos are the size of a small stamp. 2, they are mostly blurred and otherwise unclear. And 3, worst of all, they were mostly taken in the last house-to-house exercise in 2008, 16 years ago.
Mahipal said that teenagers registered in 2008 would now be in their 30s. Those in their 40s would now be in their 60s.
That 16 years of aging would have produced significant changes in how persons look. In these circumstances, a voter verification system that completely demands on manual facial recognition is prone to both genuine errors and organized manipulation.
Biometrics could immediately check the identity of the voter.
For GCOM to argue, therefore, in its August 2024 press release, that the accurate identification of the voter is one of its main safeguards against multiple voting and other forms of skullduggery, is to ignore the fact that its system is totally manual and is based on photos that are small, unclear, and are mostly 16 years old.
This supports the call for electronic voter systems, he said.
Guyana, get ready for a night of nostalgic and classical hits as the PNCR presents a grand oldies party on Saturday, November 30th at Congress Place Fire, featuring Super Ray one-man band, Big P one-man band, and Determined Family. Join us on Saturday, November 30th at Congress Place Sophia. Don't miss this night of unforgettable tunes and timeless memories. Admission is just $1,000. There will be a well-stocked bar and finger foods available. Come out and support this event.
Yeah. You see the thing about lying, folks? Support that event. You see the thing about lying. You gotta keep online all the time. you gotta keep remembering. You gotta get good memory too. You got a very good memory, and you got to keep remembering all the lies you've told. Not everybody could do it. Not everybody could do it. Yesterday's press conference, among the lies that we heard the lie about the Exim Bank. Yeah, pull it back a little bit. We heard a lie about the Exim Bank, folks. Now, the Exim Bank has approved the gas energy project loan. That's what the vice president told us. And I hope you all noted his body language as he was speaking yesterday. This is some of what he said about the Exim Bank, the gas energy project, and now infamous loan.
I see also some questions have been raised in Stabrook about the loan, the Exim Bank, US Exim Bank. And the article points out correctly about the MOU that was signed by the Exim Bank with Barbados and St. Lucia. And that in Guyana's case, we had also signed an MOU for $2 billion with the Exim Bank. But in another part of the article, it says that Barbados has been given a loan, or it says in the meanwhile, a $500 million loan, which will cover energy renewables and other areas, has been granted to Barbados. No loan has been granted to Barbados. They would still have to go through the process that we are going through now, moving from an MOU to a loan. That means you have to go through a long process, due diligence, like we did on a lot of the projects. So their article is accurate in the sense that it points out that they signed the MOU. But then in another part, it says a loan has already been granted, and what no loan has been granted there. Let me tell you, for a few weeks now, we had this information, but we wanted the announcement to come from Exim Bank. But since it has not been forthcoming, let me say to you that the loan has been approved by the board of Exim Bank, and it has been sent to the Congress for 30 days notification, after which it will be returned to the board of the Exim Bank for final approval. So that is where we stand at this point in time.
Folks, you heard it there. Unequivocally. He said the loan has been approved. Folks, what's the definition of approved? Asking for myself. You only be a little slow, we went too far. What is the definition of approved? I'm gonna get a little Bill Clinton-esque now. What's the definition of his? What's the definition of approved? He said Barbados, their loan wasn't approved. Their loan was not approved. But you see ours? I don't know what's taking Exim Bank so long to announce it. That's what he said. So I can jump the gun. You see members of parliament, members of the parliamentary opposition, sir, they do the homework, you know. We got friends in high places too. David Patterson, chairman of Alliance of Change, member of parliament, says, hold up, Jagdeal. Hold up. Take a look, take a listen to what came out of the Alliance for Change press conference today on the same subject matter of the approval of the Exim Bank loan. for the gas energy project.
Just like to report on interesting development that was brought to our attention just this morning, and this is to do with the approval of the gas to shore. On hearing the comments from Mr. Jagdeo yesterday, I forwarded his statement to the persons at the Exim Bank who we've been in contact with for over a year, and I received an interesting response which I'll share with the media. No approval was given by the Exim Bank at their last meeting in November. The next meeting date of the U.S. Exim Bank is January the 9th, 2025. And they have, if it comes up for discussion, and the if in capital letters, only then can a final decision be made. If again in capital letters, such a decision is made, it is then sent to Congress for approval. I think the Subcommittee on International Trade and Finance. They go on to say that, however, Congress is now in what is termed their lame duck session, which is the period between the transition of administrations. When Congress is fully functional, the new Congress, the new subcommittee Congress, is normally tied up in matters required by the new administration, and it is not anticipated that this matter can reach discussion or approval before March 2024. As I've always said, the devil has always been in the details. If again in capital letters, Congress approves the application, that approval is then returned to the board, after which the legal and procurement departments take over. It normally takes 6 to 9 months before once everything has been vetted and approved by both of these departments, before any disbursement can be made. On the question of retroactive finances, the statement goes, we are informed that statement from Jagdeo was strange, since this is not something that the U.S. Exim Bank normally do. Since financing is based on their bylaws and have to comply with specific regulations, and since they played no part in the procurement process, retroactive finances would be unlikely. In fact, they cannot recall if the Exim Bank ever approved retroactive financing for a process in which they did not play a part in the procurement process. The only section of Jagdeo's statement which appears to be truthful would be the sections of the loan application were not deal eligible because of the same procurement challenges of budget, etc. No information, we received no information on what was the final sum under review. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the first time that Jagdeo has told the nation that this project has been approved or is about to be approved by the U.S. Exim Bank. We have 41 days until the next U.S. Exim Bank meeting. So the nation will soon learn more and soon learn the truth. Meanwhile, the Gas to Shore project is limping along. Despite having spent 58% of the project sum for the power plants, recent site visits, and which is one I did personally, has shown that not even the foundation for the plants have been completed. We also note that the government has since changed their tune, which they started in 2020, moving from a promised 50% reduction in rates to be paid by consumers for electricity. And they're now saying, obviously, the project will significantly reduce rates. Is a prime example that the entire financing modeling for this project has been flawed, and it will not achieve anything where the PPP has said.
Yep. The folks can lie. Lie, man, Jagdeo. Same Shamela. Now watch it. Watch him. Gotta watch him. Lie. Park down. Park down.
I know some of you wouldn't believe me, but if I lie, ask me good friend Mackie.
Yeah. I know you won't believe me neither. Lie. Like to lie. Pack of lies. Pack of lies. Whole pack of lies. You're the Fork tongue. When a man say walk, you gotta take off like a bolt of lightning. When they say jump, you better catch a 747. Lie, fork tongue. Pack of lies. Exim Bank approved the money. We got a hold. I keep telling us, the problem we got in this country is that the PPP are held to a lower standard. Pack of lie. Shamila, LJ, he lie. Marcia Jackman, it's lies. But it's all lies. See them in the line. I've saw them in South today line. Mash up the road in South. Because the building housing scheme, Commons Lodge, they're also doing an interconnect between Ogle and the East Bank. And they're carrying lots of the stuff through the back of South there. I lived about 25, 30 years of my life in South Rambell. It was my constituency too. You know what's on the ground there too? The witch. The other witch. The other witch. No, she hand from she foot. Miss them don't pass them though. What miss them don't mash up that road. The folks have been complaining. 2 months ago, when we checked in this place, this road wasn't looking like this. And the road looked good today because they throw some gravel and pass a roller. Mash up the whole road. This was strong concrete road here in South. Proper road. No counter road. No fool Chucksin road. You all know how South was built? South is one of the better constructed housing areas, concrete drain. Since the 70s, you know. When I South from Vel, your lamppost was not in front of your house. Wasn't even lamppost. The electrical wires wasn't in front. You had to catch the alley with that. All these posts you see here make the place look ugly. The utility poles were in the backyard. Running in the alley at the back. South was properness. South was properness. Now to fix one problem, they're creating another problem. Reckon up. You see this girl little get knocked down, watch. She walk in the middle of the road because people just dump sand at any place. Right in front of Jai's, the school child little get knocked down here. Mash up. That's all the fit for, you know. Mash up everything. Well, I went to tell them this morning, whole strain. 6 o'clock, they had a meeting with the residents. They call a meeting. Whole strain. Here people start sucking up the teeth soon to see who chased green and all kind of foolishness. Chase all of them, man. The road went good, you know, so people had a problem. People road went good. You ever wake up good, they run to these crosses, eh? You want to see the bishop at 6 in the morning? The whole day gone bad since then. Whole day gone bad, as they were telling you. They said they're coming through Commons Lodge. Residents said they are frustrated, held a protest yesterday. No, folks, my thing is this. Build your road, your interconnect, your links, your housing scheme and all of that. But why we gotta wait till residents protest? Why we couldn't be proactive? Have a town hall at Suriname Secondary School, right on the corner in Rosa Drive. Why couldn't you call a town hall? Inform residents, keep them on the same page, get the buy-in from them. But this government is always a heavy hand. Always a heavy hand. Always fed up with the whole pack of them, man. Whole pack of them. Right? Especially soup drinkers, fed up with them. Especially the soup drinkers. There, I said it. Sorry for the K2. I think they're billing a turning for a hospital in K2. You remember the K2 secondary school? Like the Bambi Secondary School, $1 billion. Took about 5 years to complete. You remember that? It took the new AFC government coming in 2015 to finish off that school. You remember the K2 Secondary School? That's the first $1 billion school in this country. Folks in this hospital, it can cost about $4 or $5 billion. You see, the further the project is the more corruption. The further out of sight it is more corruption. And that's why we showed you all since in January, Krasabai Secondary School, nothing doing. And then the Irfan and Priya roll out and flick out the other day, and suddenly shocked and surprised. And then they call it 5:30. Nothing doing. Let's watch and see what happens now with this K2 hospital. Let's see what happens. They could barely maintain the couple that got here, bursting at the seams. But let's see what happens. Our people deserve good health care in this country, no doubt. No doubt. The kind of people that are getting contracts out here, we saw math intervention. You all know we ain't good with the math. So when we saw math intervention was happening at the Freeburg Secondary School, we had to take a closer look. Maybe getting on a class or two. Now, I saw the gentleman that are using to spearhead these math interventions. I saw the gentleman. So when I saw this young man here, very into this brochure, I said, let me see if Sir make the brochure. No, I didn't know Priya teaching math. I didn't know Priya teaching math. But look, story here. You having a math intervention. I mean, Priya can take the back. Put the math teachers in front. How come Priya get front billing? Priya in front. She in the middle. She in the back. Priya is a lawyer by training, as far as I know. You see this? You see this North Korea that we living in? That we gotta get a dear leader. Always front and center. It's a math intervention, you know. But Priya starring. Front and back. Front and back. Where the math teacher there? Where the hell in math program there? You all see this? Front and back should there. Front billing. That's how it starts, you know. That's how it starts. Rohan Basanchum says she never win a case. Or rather, it's a question he's asking. She ever win a case? Priya, know you're watching. Don't laugh. You ever win? Priya, you ever win a case? I'm asking for myself and Rohan. Asking for Rohan and myself. Right? Asking. Well, I see Sheila, but Bantu King says she doesn't even know English. Much more mathematics. What my grand says, the math teacher invisible. That's how they do things here. That's how they do things. PNCR had a press conference today, folks. As I said, we spoke about the bloated list, ID card. Some other things came out too. See this cash grant? You see this cash grant? Far-reaching effects, far-reaching effects. Instantaneously. It's the new 10 years. We're still waiting and waiting and waiting, and people watching what's happening in Suriname and saying, look, you see what order look like? You see what decency look like? Huh? Take a look.
Former Finance Minister Winston Jordan has said that the involvement of Surinamese living in Suriname in the distribution of oil revenues is a practical solution. Suriname will be giving to all Surinamese $750 annually from the oil revenues.
That Block 58 is estimated to contain in excess of 750 million barrels of oil. And out of this, Suriname expects to produce 220,000 barrels per day.
The instrument announced by President Chandra Santokhi is called Royalties for Everyone.
The condition is that you must be a Surinamese living in Suriname. That's one of the conditions. He made it very clear. So it is not that he's not saying that they are overseas or diaspora Surinamese and so on. But he's saying what is a practicality, a practical matter. It will be difficult to include all Surinamese who you don't know living overseas to make an estimate of the feasibility of program that you want to put in. It is extremely difficult to get a cash transfer or cash grant program that will involve diaspora, especially when our diasporas are almost, if not exceeding the population of Guyana.
Jordan said that the opposition had suggested this condition when the government first announced it $200,000 per household.
So now is making certain that that 750 is not eroded by inflation by giving you an interest rate of 7% every year, so that by the time you're ready to collect, it will still have an equivalent value of 750 or more.
He said that inflation has already eroded the $100,000 promised by the government. This wouldn't lose if there's a devaluation, since the money is stipulated in US dollars.
It is not dissimilar to what the Buxton proposal is. It's not dissimilar. And like I said, and I think in the constitutional reform, we should adopt a similar approach, which is putting in the constitution that the citizens of Guyana must benefit from the patrimony of the country, in particular, the natural resources of the country.
Jordan said that there should be laws rooted in the Constitution to stop the cash grant being used as an election gimmick.
And used to bribe voters and potential supporters, which is what is happening in Guyana at the moment.
Yeah. There you have it, former Minister of Finance weighing in there on the Surinamese cash grant. Far superior. Who vex? There we said it. As when the PNCR folks, not when Modi was here, MPs had a photo up with the Indian Prime Minister. And while we were doing that, some other folks took the opportunity to, they were engaging parliamentary colleagues from across the aisle. One thing we're learning in this country, supporters don't like see it too chummy with the government. And maybe that's what happened to Sister Anna Ferguson, because I've been seeing quite a few comments. What's in a photograph? Folks, what's in a photograph? It's neither here or there for me. But y'all know some of y'all, how y'all stay. Soon you smile, like you're going over. I was hearing this afternoon as I was in the magistrate's court, 2 years for traffic offense matter with the former mayor Ubraj Narain. As I was there, another colleague of ours said, I hear you going over to the PNCR. You know why you are here? Come and tell me about some lotto numbers that you dream, that you see, that them the kind of things I want here. Lotto number, properties. I hear. Well, I hear and it gone over too. Take a look, take a listen.
Recent photographs of members of the opposition seemingly cuddling up with government officials sparked comments of opposition forces crossing the floor. There was a report that Member of Parliament Annette Ferguson was sanctioned for posing with Vice President Bharat Jagdeo. Today, Friday, Member of Parliament Ganesh Mahipal explained that the photographs were captured when India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi went to address the National Assembly last week.
I am not aware, as a central executive member of this party, of Annette Ferguson being disciplined by this party. I saw a mischievous post, I would consider it also, on this Live in Guyana page, and I passed it like if it's just being mischievous as usual. And that page was created for that purpose and has been doing that for the longest while. And maybe whoever is gullible, they will fall prey to it. But I have always said that our Guyanese people, we are very, very sensible, we are very, very knowledgeable, and we are able to decipher facts from fiction.
He said that it isn't in the psyche of members of the People's National Congress to be hostile to fellow Guyanese.
Because our party does not teach us to hate. Our party does not teach us to have any sort of anger and animosity with our fellow human race. Our party teaches us to be inclusive, and our party teaches us to extend the hand of friendship, to bring in as much as we can to make our party stronger, which is what we have been doing.
He said that his party has accused the PPP of using the police and other state apparatus to traumatize people who are engaged by the People's National Congress reform. This is particularly so when those people live in perceived PPP strongholds.
As parliamentarians, we will see each other regularly at sittings, at different events and functions and so on. And nothing can stop the fact of us seeing each other because the space is so small and we all have to peacefully coexist in it. But we must continue to call out the corruption in the People's Progressive Party. We must continue to call out the incompetence in the People's Progressive Party. And we must continue to proffer measures that we intend as a government to do differently that can better society for the benefit of everyone.
Guyana, get ready for a night of nostalgic and classical hits as the PNCR presents a grand oldies party on Saturday, November 30th at Congress Place Fire, featuring Super Ray one-man band, Big P one-man band, and Determined Family. Join us on Saturday, November 30th at Congress Place Sophia. Don't miss this night of unforgettable tunes and timeless memories. Admission is just $1,000. There will be a well-stocked bar and finger foods available. Come out and support this event.
Yeah, welcome back, folks. As we wrap up, you know, when you read the playbook of the PPP, you'll see one of the ways in which they siphon off hundreds of millions of dollars in guard service. In guard services, you would think if the government knew, budgeted for building schools, knowing the timeline for completion, they would also budget for the guard service that needs to protect those public buildings, as it were. In the supplemental budget that they came back for quite recently, they came back for monies for guard services, stating that they built all these schools and they needed security for them. And in some instances, existing schools, they needed additional security. Folks, contracts totaling $1.1 billion. And they just want to give it a stamp of approval and say, move on. That is why when MP Ganesh Mahipal, as we wrap up, began drilling down into these allocations for guard service, we saw Priya getting hot and bothered because one of the things he asked her is what a lot of people on the street are asking. You all know this country small. Everybody know everybody business. You can't hide nothing. Soon just happen to somebody ready to flash a photograph. And that's the kind of country we're living in. So MP Ganesh Mahipal was asking the minister simply, a particular guard service, Madam Minister, do you have an interest in this guard service? We're hearing things that your family might own it, friends, family, and favorite. But why in this country getting fight down for just asking a simple question? $1.1 billion they've appropriated for guard services, security infrastructure, and I just want you to sign off on it like a blank check. Simple questions are being asked, and they won't fight you. Folks, this is what happened in National Assembly during the course of the scrutiny of the estimates this week. Take a look, take a listen as we wrap up. The closer.
May I ask also, sir, that there is a company that is in the public space, Centaur Investment Inc., where the allegation is that the minister has some ties to the contract, to the company. May I ask the honorable minister if indeed this company is in receipt of a contract from her ministry, and if so, what is the sum? And could she say the respective companies in the ministry that is in contract with the ministry, what are their sums and the names of the company? Thank you, sir.
This is an honorable house, young Mahipal, honorable member. You don't bring the street corner gaff in here.
Honorable Minister, please. You can take that line of answering outside of the house. So right now,
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Minister, I'm on my feet.
the honorable member should retract his earlier statement before we go forward.
Honorable Minister
He should
Teixeira, I'm on my
retract it, sir.
Honorable Minister
Before he's allowed to
Teixeira,
ask any other
I am
question.
on my feet. Honorable members, I'm not going to tolerate any breakdown in this aspect of our session this afternoon. And we have seen absolute disregard by two honorable members in this house. When a speaker stands on his feet, everyone sit and shut up. And I think I have the privilege and luxury of using that word.
Yep. Sit and shut up. Priya, sit and shut up. Teixeira, showing total disregard. That's our time, folks. That's our program. Oh, because you're asking questions, you know, she won't bad up. Do you have an interest in the company? You know somebody there? You got your uncle or auntie? She said she doesn't. It is alleged. She said she doesn't. That's our time, folks. Have a great weekend as we ease into December. As we ease into this new month. Have a great weekend. Get some exercise in. Spend some time with your friends, your family, your favorites. Spend some time with yourself too. You know, be gentle with yourselves over the weekend, folks. Have a fantastic rest of the evening. And thanks for being here with us, folks, all week. It was a privilege for us. Simply a privilege. Simply a privilege. Good to see all of you on the live tonight. Idris, Yvette Moore, McGarrell Seville, Michael Reed, Frank Rice. Or is it Frank Reese? Frank. Candida Lina Ndujit, Priya. Some of y'all bad up to people just like that, you know. Know some of y'all. Erica, Stacy. Front and back. Yvette Moore. Yvette. So you trip him up. Folks, have a fantastic rest of the evening. That's our time. Thanks for being here with us this evening. That's our program.